From pirate to pirate, from your home to your home by the sea. Hampton University's newscast, WHOV-TV. Every Thursday in Hampton Roads, we are your voice. You can count on us to keep you updated on all the noise. Nationwide, school-wide, what's trending and what's in the sky. Pirates, this is the only news channel that is just for you. WHOV, the Scripps Howard News Watch starts right now.
Welcome to a very special evening, Pirates. I'm Lathan Dunbar Keys.
And I'm Jamison Harris. Tonight, we're taking a different approach to our broadcast. This is our Black History Month special.
That's right, Jamison. What better way to close out this month than to highlight our very own community, our legacy, and excellence?
We hope you guys enjoy the stories that we share.
To understand how our home by the sea came to be, we have to go back to 1619.
Let's get into it.
Good evening, Pirates. To start off tonight's show, we take a blast to the past. I had the opportunity to visit Fort Monroe, a pivotal landmark for Hampton, Virginia, and Black history. Let's take a look. Hampton University is often called our home by the sea, and there is a long history behind how our historically Black university came to be. The story starts right here, just 10 minutes off campus at Fort Monroe. In 1619, the very first enslaved Africans arrived on the White Lion ship at Point Comfort.
They're moving the ship into the Portuguese Empire, but the British take the ship because of mercantilism, which is an idea of fighting each other. They actually take the ship to Point Comfort, and Point Comfort is the small island off of Fort Monroe. It's harder to get there. And then they row these people onto Fort Monroe because the bay is too shallow. You can't send a big ship into Fort Monroe. And that's how we get the first Black persons into British North America, into the British colonies.
It was right here at this point where the demanding nature of the African American experience would begin. In 1861, a Union general named Benjamin Butler was commanding at Fort Monroe. He refused to return 3 enslaved men who escaped from their Confederate owner. That same year, his defiant decision led to the creation of a contraband camp for enslaved African Americans, creating the foundation of the city of Hampton.
Well, a lot of people try to imply that slavery has passed, but then it's kind of like when you really look around you and just kind of see the environment and hear people's stories, at least for me personally, it's just kind of a reminder that it really wasn't that long ago.
Union officer Samuel Chapman Armstrong hired Mary Smith Peake. This Black female educator taught the contraband Native and African Americans under an oak tree. It was her first classroom, which would later inspire Hampton's founding on April 1st, 1868. 245 years later, the descendants of those same enslaved people that landed at Fort Monroe would be read the Emancipation Proclamation under this very oak tree.
It's really special to know that people were fighting for what we're doing right now, and we are full of an upcoming generation that's going to be the new doctors, lawyers, journalists, and so much more. So that's just really important to me.
To know your history is to fulfill the dreams of our ancestors. Happy Black History Month, Pirates! I'm Aiden Miller, reporting for WHOV-TV.
The foundations of Hampton are strong, and former President Samuel Chapman Armstrong recognized this, leading to one of Hampton's first graduates paving his own way. Moving on to next story. Known for his academic leadership, Booker T. Washington made his impact on Hampton after graduating in 1875. In 1881, he helped establish our sister school, Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, now known as Tuskegee University. There, he taught the importance of vocational training and economic advancement. His success continued as the first African American invited to the White House in 1901. During Theodore Roosevelt's term, that same year, he published his influential autobiography, Up From Slavery. It shared his journey from enslavement to one of the nation's most well-known Black figures.
Our next stop is in 1893, where a special painting waits. Hampton University is home to the nation's oldest African American museum and the oldest museum in Virginia. Throughout tonight's special, we'll show a historic and prominent piece housed right here on campus. Let's get started.
My name's Kyla Bryant, and I'm standing next to the banjo lesson. And this was one of the most prominent pieces of the 19th century because it was one of the first to depict Black people in a compassionate manner. Henry Osawa Turner created this painting along with the Thankful Poor to do just that. This was actually one of the first pieces acquired by Hampton University.
Moving on, we arrive at 1927, where a timeless melody of pirate pride was born. O Hampton, we can never make thee a song. The alma mater is not just notes or words, but a testament to what it means to be a Hamptonian. The school song was penned by Sarah Collins Fernandez in 1882, with the instrumentals finalized in 1927 by Chauncey Northern. Our university choirs have been lifting their voices since the 1870s, and its members are allowing their lives to do the singing.
My life through the singing is not only are we singing about the Lord, but for me actually walking in the ways of the Lord. So continuing to pick up my own cross, continuing to be a representation of Christ as much as I can.
Letting my life do the singing is maintaining Hampton pride, repping Hampton wherever I go, talking to people about Hampton, prospective students as well. I would say that that's something that's really important.
Centuries later, the alma mater is still ringing throughout campus. Coming up, Hampton's journalism path paved the way for a bright future.
And local Black-owned businesses surrounds our home by the sea. Stay with us.
First block. Yeah, I messed up too.
If you're a Scripps Howard student, 2002 was an important year for you.
The roots of journalism education at Hampton trace back to 1967, when the Department of Mass Media Arts was established at Hampton Institute, making it the first journalism-related curriculum among HBCUs. Located originally in Armstrong Hall, the program quickly became a hub for aspiring Black communicators, helping launch careers in newspapers, radio, TV, and beyond. And for decades, many Hampton alumni made their mark in media history, from Robert Sinstag Abbott, founder of the Chicago Defender and an early trailblazer in Black press, to William Bill Kearney, a well-respected journalist and educator who introduced the mass media department to Hampton in 1967. And of course, Tony Brown, the award-winning broadcaster who would go on to become the first dean of Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications.
I try to emphasize to my students the significance and critical importance of their knowing the history of Hampton Institute, as well as the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications, as it relates to its precursor, Hampton Institute's Department of Mass Media Arts. We have a rich history that has impacted the world.
In September 2002, a major milestone arrived through a partnership between the Scripps Howard Foundation and Hampton University, forming the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications. The mission of Scripps was to increase workplace diversity in the nation's media by equipping rising journalists and communicators with confidence and opportunity. And to this day, we continue that mission, working harder than ever before, honoring the legacy and preparing to be a changing force. Now, Pirates, I know we all have nostalgia for 2016, but did you know 2016 was a historic year for HU? 10 years ago, Hampton's athletic department broke new ground, and our reporter, Victoria Payne, has this story.
At Hampton University, history is made in many fields, and for this group, it was made on one. 10 years ago, HU's men's lacrosse team made history as the first men's Division I team to compete at an HBCU.
It's a blessing that comes with the burden of being the only one. But I love it. There's no other place I'd rather be than with these men and chasing the opportunity to shock the world and get that first win in program history and then continue to build this program into a great Division I program moving forward.
The team played their first game on February 13th, 2016 against Roberts Wesleyan College at Armstrong Stadium. At the time, Only about 2% of D1 lacrosse players identified as black. The team's debut was a historic moment in a sport where diversity had been rare.
Playing an all-white sport my whole life, you grow up with a lot of jokes that normally you just let slide, but playing with a bunch of people that have gone through similar like things while playing the sport just makes you appreciate your team and appreciate the game playing with other black people, and it makes you want to take it more seriously, take those jokes more seriously, and just allow it to fuel your game.
For Hampton players today, wearing a jersey is more than just a number. It's contributing to a growing legacy and showing young players that lacrosse is for everyone. In a sport with only 3 Division I HBCU teams, this team is still the only men's program. Black athletes at Hampton are allowed to be themselves without having to sacrifice their culture and play the game they love.
Like growing up playing the sport, it's a predominantly white sport. Just the entire community is. Sometimes you feel like an outcast. There's been plenty of times where I've been the only black player on my team.
But the lacrosse team is more than a sports team. It's a brotherhood.
It's a very family-oriented team. The seniors look out for the younger guys. The younger guys, ask questions to pick the older guys' brains and just learn from, like, the seniority and just the wisdom that they have.
Head coach Vincent Culpepper is a part of that culture, teaching players lessons they can carry on and off the field and beyond lacrosse.
My job and my coaching staff's job is to help our men step into their manhood.
As the program is still growing, we can see that history at Hampton University is meant to be created. I'm Victoria Payne, reporting live from WHOV-TV.
The Hampton University's men's lacrosse team will be back in action at Armstrong Stadium this Saturday at 11 a.m. Be sure to come out and support.
As you can see, Hampton's 158-year rich history is still growing. We're back in 2026 to see how HU is making history. We can't talk about HU history without talking about the city we call home. Hampton Roads has many black-owned businesses that want your support. The choices are endless, and our reporter Ariana Askew has a few places in mind.
Since 1868, Hampton University has served as a place of history and a home by the sea for many pirates. But just outside of the campus, the city of Hampton serves as a place for African Americans to surround themselves around greatness. These small businesses in this area serve as a safe space for HU students and Hampton locals. Let's take a look.
We got started in 2011. We opened directly in the middle of a recession. We want to be inclusive in the community. We want to be a part of everyday life for the people that live in Hampton and Newport News. And so it was very strategic that we were in this area because we wanted to be where students were, we want to be where the locals were. You know, people are always excited to see a woman in business, a woman of color in business. When they come in, they're always saying, "I'm so proud of you." Listen, I love to hear that because it's hard work. So listen, come here, come to Scratch, get you a latte, get you some banana pudding, get you a cupcake, get you some avocado toast, and then just enjoy the atmosphere. We are here for you.
I'm Dedra Fain. I'm an assistant professor at Hampton University. I have several companies. One is called Celebrations from the Soul, and the other one is James Agency, which is a communications firm. I get so excited when I hear the stories of all of the students, and so when they come in here and they're sitting there and they have their different ideas of different businesses they want to start, and if I can help them spark new ideas or put them in the right direction of where they need to go to start their business, that just feeds my soul. As a Black female entrepreneur, that's my power. That's who I am, and that's when I show up in the room, I show up with my power. And so that's what I want to even encourage all of the students at Hampton University, that's our power, and no one can take that away. And so I want everyone to walk out, when they walk out of my classrooms, to feel that energy as well.
Cutting hair is a universal thing, so you can always cut, anybody's hair in general. The name of my business is Foreign Cuts. I'm a barber.
Gabriel started his business his freshman year and has greatly evolved since then.
The conversation and the energy that you bring is the biggest part of the haircut.
This is Ariana with WHOV-TV.
You can find and support more Black-owned businesses online at www.buyblackhamptonroads.com. Up next, Ruth Carter is making history.
And Wanda Sykes gives WHOV-TV an exclusive interview.
We'll be right back after this.
Did you go to the Wanda show?
I did.
Hey Pirates, I'm Ariel Cole, and I'm bringing you the stories about HU alum. We're starting with our very own Rashida Jones. All the lights are on Hampton University alum Rashida Jones, inducted into the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications Hall of Fame in 2019. Rashida Jones is an inspiration to all students at Hampton University and in the media. She shot up the corporate ladder using her media and leadership skills, serving as the president of MSNBC, currently known as MS Now, from 2021 to 2025. There, she led news coverage teams of 800 plus employees. She has also held other prestigious positions such as Director of Live Programming on the Weather Channel. And at NBC Universal, on top of all of her accomplishments, she's a two-time Emmy Award winner. Jones now holds a position on the Board of Trustees for Hampton University. Jones' story and accomplishments prove that she is committed to the next generation of journalists. Learn more about her on the Hampton University website. Our next alumna made history in Hollywood, but her journey began here. Here's how Ruth E. Carter's legacy continues to inspire students on campus. Behind these powerful scenes is the work of a Hampton University graduate bringing history to life through costume design. That graduate is costume designer Ruth E. Carter, now the most nominated Black woman in Academy Awards history.
You come from a big family, you know how to create, you know how to build something out of nothing. So every year our Christmas tree was awesome because two of my brothers were artists and we had a whole way of decorating the Christmas tree. So I feel like it was a family environment that was highly creative.
Carter changed her major from special education to theater arts as her love for storytelling and theater grew at Hampton, where her mentor Linda Bolton Smith encouraged her to pursue costume design.
I created my own curriculum, if you would, in theater, because there wasn't anyone really teaching costume design, even though we had other theater crafts that were being taught. Costume design had kind of fallen by the wayside, but I was encouraged.
Her legacy continues to inspire students like costume designer Hannah Buckles, who is pursuing her own creative path in theater and design.
I was debating on coming here. A lot of people were like, Ruth Carter went here, Ruth Carter went here. It was to a point where my cello teacher emailed me when I was taking my tour. She was like, I just heard about Hampton on the radio. They were talking about the costume designer that graduated from here. And I was like, well, if she can make it, I can make it too. So she really led to me choosing Hampton to come.
Here inside the museum at Hampton University, Carter's designs are preserved. Let's take a look at the work that helped shape her legacy.
It's almost like full circle for us to be able to showcase 3 of her works. And they are on a long-term loan, about 3 years, and then it's expected that she will rotate these items out and we'll have 3 more new pieces to celebrate.
Carter says she always hoped to break barriers in costume design and be a trailblazer in her field.
I didn't know that what my future held, but I did always have hope. I always felt like, hey, there's never been a Black costume designer to win an Oscar. And I felt like in my core that I wanted to do that. I wanted to be that person.
I'm Ariel Cole with WHOV-TV. Though she's not an alumna, we're spotlighting trailblazer Julie Daz. She is tearing down racial and gender boundaries in the realm of cinema. Her work includes the award-winning film Daughters of the Dust, along with Incognito and Queen Sugar. Dash is the director of Wanda Sykes' most recent comedy special, which took place right here at her alma mater.
I've been a huge fan of Miss Wanda Sykes for many, many years, watched all of her comedy specials, and when she called me and asked me to do hers, I said, well, I've never done that before, and she said she wanted something different.
She's back like she never left. Wanda Sykes is bringing another comedy special to Netflix, And this time, it's set by our home by the sea. Students, faculty, locals, and out-of-state fans came to Ogden Hall for a night of laughter. Our reporter Ariana Askew has the story.
So I just want to first thank you so much for coming out today and just giving your words of wisdom. I know it's snowing outside,
Yes.
but we really appreciate your time and you returning back to your alma mater. So I
thank
first
you.
want to just begin with asking you, this is your 7th comedy special, and what originally attracted you to comedy in general?
Growing up, we watched a lot of comedy, and we had a lot of variety shows on TV back then. We had, I'm not even gonna name the shows because you'll be like, who, what? Just that old. But we had a lot of variety shows, and there was a comedian, Moms Mabley. She would come on, and like my whole family would just die laughing. She would like come on with this like a dust rag on her head, and she's like no teeth, or she would make it seem like she had no teeth, and she was just hilarious, and she always stayed with me, and so I was always into comedy because that's what we watched a lot, and then as I got older, it was listening to Richard Pryor albums and things I shouldn't have been listening to. But it was, going to a friend's house, and her dad had all the records, so we would listen to them. But it wasn't until I graduated and I was working at National Security Agency, and I just was like bored. I knew I should be doing something else. I went back and read my high school yearbook and my Hampton, yearbook, and so many people had written things in there about, you are so funny, you should be on stage, why don't you? And I was like, maybe I should, So I tried it out, I loved it, and everything just made sense.
Absolutely. Could you talk a little bit about that transition from, graduating into comedy? I know you said, we were talking about how you were a marketing major, and oftentimes when people like to explore options that are their passion, they are a little bit timid just because it might not be where the money is. So could you just touch a little bit about that transition?
But, and I think that's why it's so important about having, when they say you have something to fall back on. I mean, a degree from Hampton, I think that was a very nice, gave me a soft cushion as far as like falling back, something to fall back on. But having it gave me confidence that I was here and I graduated, I completed something. So it's like I can get a job. I'm equipped to find a career and get a job, and knowing that, it gave me the confidence to step out and do something that I was passionate about. I didn't feel like I wasn't afraid to fail because I knew I had my Hampton degree that would open doors for me.
Absolutely. And you touched a little bit about stepping outside and really making an impact on society. And moving on to my next question, I just wanted to ask you, within your comedy specials, how do you manage to mesh the comedy within those serious topics that are going on with the world, and just meshing those two, so you can kind of find a good balance in between both?
Yeah. No, I love to talk about what's going on in the world, and in my life, and how it's affecting me. Just to give you a little snapshot of how I see things. That's my favorite brand of comedy too. When people actually talk about like social issues and hypocrisy, all those things are important to me because I think, especially as African Americans, especially as women, queer, that we face a lot of that. So I like to bring it up because at least it sparks conversation to get people talking about things and to laugh. I know I say things that maybe people think, but they don't really have a platform or want to say it. So it's kind of like a relief for a lot of people when I use my platform to say these things.
I just wanted to ask you, being that you are a Black woman, a prominent Black woman, and we are in Black History Month, I just wanted to ask you, what kind of lasting impact are you hoping to leave African Americans or people of color specifically within your career path or just on society in general?
Well, I hope that I would leave behind. It's so hard to talk about yourself like that, but no, that I try to bring people together. That's what I would like to do. I think it's you look out my audience and you see it's very diverse, and I think it's uh, bringing people together and to show that, hey, we can laugh at some of the same things, we can agree on some things, even though we're different, and also to not be afraid to try, not be afraid to go for your dreams. I think we're here to love each other and to lift each other up. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So I would hope that people would maybe want to do more of that.
Absolutely. You're such an inspiration.
Well, thank you.
I know we're out of time, but thank you again so much. It was an honor for you to be here and travel around campus and just interact with our students. So
well, thank
we hope you come back.
Of course, come on.
Thank you
Look,
so
I got the jacket. I'm not, I'm locked in now.
The special is set to release this spring. Follow us on Instagram at WHOV-TV to stay updated. Well, that's all the alumni spotlights I have for you tonight, Pirates. Back to you, Lathan and Jameson.
Up next, we're seeing what current students know about our home by the sea.
Stay with us.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to...
We sent our team to the Student Center to test Pirates University 101 knowledge.
As Black History Month comes to a close, let's see just how much these Hampton Pirates learned about their home by the sea. What year was Hampton founded?
1868.
1868.
1868.
Which civil rights activist worked at Holly Tree Inn in 1957?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks?
Thurgood Marshall.
Okay, that is incorrect.
Okay.
True or false? Did the civil rights activist Martin Luther King's mother attend Hampton University?
False. I'm gonna say true, but my friend told me it was false. So true, false, I don't know.
24. I'm gonna guess and say no.
Although Black History Month is coming to an end, here at Hampton University, Pirates celebrate their history year-round. I'm Nyla McCullers, reporting with WHOV-TV.
Thank you to all that participated.
History surrounds our campus, and leave it up to reporter Jameson Harris to dig deeper on the legacy closer to you than you may think.
Legacy Park is where you'll find key figures who built this university.
And students are telling us what legacy looks like for them.
To me, legacy means just carrying on the baton of whoever was before you, still making your own way while still carrying on that last name and that tradition.
I'm Ogre 19, so we're the class of 2027, and my mom graduated from Hampton in 1994, I believe. So she's Ogre 8. And that already was something that connected us when I came, just because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know anything about the class names. So just to hear that we had the same class name was kind of beautiful to me and kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm meant to be here. This is me, this is us.
So my mom, she was a member of the class of 92, the first QT. So it's crazy for me being QT 13, just, being in the same class as her, it's really like, we talk about it all the time.
My parents were very HBCU focused. And so I knew without a doubt that I was going to be attending an HBCU. I do think that my brother being here definitely helped. I think of him as my best friend. So that definitely was a push for me to come here. But it wasn't forced on me to come to Hampton, but I do think that I made the right choice.
So I'm a third generation. My grandma actually went to Hampton. Both my parents went to Hampton here. So there's some history.
How they met was at a party. My mom was sitting on the floor actually at the party. My dad was sitting in the chair. And my mom asked my dad if if she could use the chair. And my dad was like, nah.
They met right over there at Ogden Steps. My dad was running for Mr. Freshman at the time. Came up to my mom and her friend group, and he walked up and he was like, you know what, I'm Chris, I'm trying to be Mr. Freshman. And then they were like, man, he think he's so cool. It was making fun of him. And then they kind of actually stayed friends, like Corey said, and their friend group stayed along together. And then over time, they ended up dating, and here we are today.
When she first visited, she didn't know she could go here. Like, they got to the hotel that night and she was like, I can go here? And she mentions that so much to me, and it just kind of puts into perspective, like, I'm just here strolling around, like, but this was genuinely her dream.
I credit everything that I do to, like, my mom. She's my biggest hero in the entire world. I love her so much. She's my best friend. And the fact that I was able to follow in her footsteps was just a dream come true.
I think we should definitely encourage our children to go to HBCUs and continue upholding our legacies. And that legacy shouldn't just be something you inherit and just let that be what defines you. I think the point of legacy is to continue to grow, continue to change, and continue to just explore different avenues.
I'm Jamison Harris.
And I'm BL Harewood.
Reporting for WHOV-TV.
And if you're not a legacy student, maybe you can be the history left behind for your family.
Well, Pirates, that's all for our annual Black History Month special.
To stay up to date on all things WHOV, follow us on Instagram at WHOV-TV.
And remember,
Hampton history is Black history. We'll see you next time.